yeah, we all went there to celebrate his birthday. And it was the worst trip that I ever been on in my whole YouTube career, shall I say. And you try to come on to people's husbands, you touch people's husbands on their spine, you telling people don't let these nails fool you. Lips, who do you think you are?
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lindsay Unfiltered. If you've been following this series, you already know that we've been diving deep into the shocking and heartbreaking story surrounding the late YouTuber and the dynamics that may have led to some of the chaos behind the scenes. Prissy P spoke out 5 years ago, and she didn't hold back, from calling out his disrespectful behavior to women to describing just how toxic his birthday trip was. Her words echo what LLIPS' sister was saying all along. This isn't about tearing anyone down. It is about looking honestly at who LLIPS was outside the camera frame and what we can learn from it. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's get into this.
It was fun when he wasn't around, but when he was around, it was no longer fun. You get what I'm saying? It was like the worst experience I ever had with a YouTuber, one-on-one personally. And I guess it was a time that I actually was watching his channel because, again, I saw his email. Didn't want to respond to his email because I wanted to check his channel out first because, again, I'm not about to do a collab with nobody that I don't just know. I want to watch you and see what your channel is about. So I wanted to support his hot sauce.
Prissy P starts off her video by saying that she met LLIPS because he'd emailed her trying to get his name out there. He was an up-and-coming YouTuber, you guys all know. This is in 2019. And she says that LLIPS reached out to her and that inevitably ended in a birthday trip. That was one of the worst trips of her life, one of the worst YouTube collaborations of her life. Earlier on I said I didn't really see a big deal with it, which was 5 years ago when I watched it the first time because I couldn't really recall many key details from it. But watching it again lets me know that there are a lot of key details that we should pay attention to that may correlate with his case with production in a prison cell for the demise of LLIPS. It's an unfortunate situation, but I think it is important that we listen to her story. In this first part, she kind of talks about how she met LLIPS. He reached out to her.
He went on and said, Prissy, I have my birthday party coming up. My birthday is New Year's Day, but I want to have a meetup in Atlanta for my birthday. I know we never met, but I would really love for you and your husband to be there. So December 27th through the 30th, and I said, got it, looking forward to meeting you. He said, we are excited as well. Done with the conversation. So bad, I can't believe this. And he kept saying, Trey, why didn't you tell me Prissy was here? Why didn't you tell me Prissy was here? I would have never did this. This is so unprofessional. I'm thinking to myself, well, if you were here at the time you said you was going to be there, you would have known that Prissy was there. But not only that, it ain't even about Prissy at this point. It's about the simple fact that whether I was there or not, you told Trey and Nene that you was going to be there at 12 o'clock, so you wasted their whole day.
It was like a birthday weekend, a Friday, a Saturday, a Sunday, right? And the Friday came and they all were supposed to meet at another mukbanger's house. Now, there's all kinds of mukbangers involved in this, not just Prissy P. They were supposed to meet at another couple's house, Trey and Nene, at 12 o'clock. And LLIPS and his husband and other mukbangers did not get there until 9 that night. So these people had been up preparing their home for these people since 12 o'clock that day. And they were inconvenienced by the fact that LLIPS didn't show up till 9 o'clock that night. Prissy also goes into the point that they came there to enjoy LLIPS' birthday. LLIPS sent it as like an invitation to meet up for his birthday. But LLIPS' intention was to collaborate with as many content creators as he could. Prissy P, her husband, Trey, Nene, he wanted to work just as much as he wanted to celebrate, it seems like. So Prissy was like, what's going on? You want to work, you're involving me in this, and you can't even show up on time. And then when confronted on it, LLIPS says, y'all should have told me Prissy was here because I most definitely would have showed up. So it's making it seem like, okay, so Trey and Nene weren't good enough for you to show up for. I get it. You know what I'm saying? In a day and age like this of today with technology and social media, it takes a second to send a text. I change plans all the time, okay? Some people have been mad at me. I know people, stuff comes up and stuff happens. I understand that. But it takes a second to text. Even though you might be embarrassed, oh, I have to cancel. It takes a second to text. So that seems like where Prissy was coming from that first night. Just do us the common courtesy of letting us know. Like, this is a big function. A lot of people are coming out for your birthday. The least you can do is let them know you won't be there. That's where Prissy was coming from. So the next day comes. So we're on Saturday now. And Lips apologized that night. He said, y'all, I'm wrong for being late. But let's do something tomorrow. I want y'all to cook for me. I want us to eat together, you know. And Trey and Nene seem like a very nice couple, you know, a house warming couple. You got people that want you to come in their house and be comfortable. They seem like those type of people. So they're cooking all day. And they say they're going to meet up at 3. They're going to do videos. You know, Lips is trying to make things right from the night before. But let's see what happens on Saturday night.
3 o'clock came, Lips wasn't there. So Ray Sean was like, well, I guess I'm not doing a video with Lips today. I'm just going to just go ahead and get me a drink and just chill. So I want to say Lips walked in the door at like 4:57, almost 5 o'clock. Again, still late. But maybe not in Lips' eyes. Maybe it's not late. Because, like Lips said, they do things different in Memphis. The way that Lips was acting when everyone was trying to set him up, well, mainly Sam's World is like Lips' worker. Like, she was just like, he was like, Sam, why isn't my camera charged? Sam, where's my relish? Sam, where's my jalapenos? It was like she was running all around like a chicken with their neck cut off, trying to make sure that his production was set up the right way. So I don't know why you're treating these people like they're your workers or your peasants.
I think what Prissy just said is the most insightful thing that we can take from this video if we're trying to apply it to Lips's character in looking at his relationship with production. So Prissy talked about how he ordered people around a lot on that birthday trip. Told them, go get this for me, go get that for me, go get this. We all have someone in our life that, you know, kind of feels like everybody should cater to them. I didn't watch Lips as much towards the end as I did in the beginning, but I do know that he had his husband in charge of his medicine. He had his husband in charge of a lot of his daily care things. So if he can talk to Sam's World, like, help me with this, do that, do this, then he was most definitely talking to his husband like that because he was comfortable with them, right? I don't necessarily think Lips meant any harm by kind of ordering people around. This is just in him. There's just some people who have it in them to kind of be a little bossier than other people. And I do think, yeah, Lips could have been bossy to production. Did that warrant what happened? Absolutely not. But it does offer a window into how Lips and production's daily conversations could have been. So you need to take notes on that. So Friday, Lips was late. Prissy was upset about it. Saturday, Lips was late again. Prissy was upset about it. He says, you know what? I apologize. Prissy, I'm going to make it up to you. I promise. And Sunday rolls around. He wakes up early and says, Prissy, I want to take my daughter out this morning and do some things with her, but I will catch up with y'all such and such. So Prissy invites all of the gang out to Korean barbecue or something of that nature. And she said she texted everyone and let them know that she was going to Korean barbecue. And everyone showed up and they had a good time, and Lips was in and out of their live. Now, I don't know if Lips was invited. If they didn't invite Lips, that wasn't fair. You know, you should have invited him. But if he was invited and decided not to go, then that's his own free will. You know, he can't just look at the live stream and be like, I wish I was there, because they are broadcasting it. You see what I'm saying? So they did make plans to go get drinks after this Korean barbecue that they did, and Lips met up with them there. And that's where the shit just started to hit the fan for Prissy.
So when Lips get there, he's like, oh, I wish somebody would have told me that Honey was here, because I would have not went to Legoland. I want to work with Honey. You have literally just did what only Lips wanted to do, and you didn't have a plan for us. We literally didn't do anything. You got videos. So all the times that he was standing us up, all the times that we were at Trey and Nene house waiting for him, he was doing videos in his hotel room.
Lips invited these people out for a birthday weekend celebration. So I think in Prissy P's mind, she was thinking that things were going to be planned for them. Like Lips had a dinner set up for them to go to. Lips had this going on. Lips just kind of wanted to meet up and everybody do what they want, have a free-for-all, workathon, community marathon. I don't know. But the intentions on the trip were different. They put it together at the last minute and all went to Atlanta, and their intentions were different. Prissy's intention, I'm coming here to celebrate a birthday, go to a dinner, drink. Lips's intention, I'm coming here to grind. And lack of communication is the biggest issue. That's why it was disorganized. That's why things weren't together. I can't do lack of communication with things like that. Whenever I plan going to the mall, it has to be planned down to a T. Some people can just get up and go. Some people cannot get up and go. So Prissy seems like the type of person who she can't just get up and go and go with the flow. Lips is like, I am going wherever the wind takes me, baby. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not that type of person either. I need to know where we're going, how much I need to bring, how much I'm spending, because you're not about to have me out here not knowing what the hell's going on. So inevitably, Prissy P is Prissy pissed at Lips. Lips say, I'm going to make it up to you again. So they're all getting bottles. All of the couples, they're getting bottles. They're drinking, which is another important thing to note. We believe that Lips like to have a little fun with alcohol. Who doesn't every once in a while? None of us can speak to what that looked like for him, but we know some other person is attesting to him acting brazenly on alcohol, and she'll say some of the things that he said and did to the women and the men there while on alcohol, acting brazenly. Now, alcohol takes the water out of your brain. It impairs your mind. So you're not going to be yourself when you're drinking. Does that excuse your behavior? Absolutely not. But it kind of gives us a window into, hey, if they were still drinking in the marriage, could things have gotten reckless? Could Lips have said things that were reckless? Could production have said things that were reckless? Could a fight have broken out? So let's listen to what she says about Lips while they're all drinking and partying.
So he asked Rayshawn, can he touch my butt? Rayshawn, can I have permission to touch your wife's ass? And Rayshawn was like, no, I'm overprotective about mine. No, you cannot touch her. And Lips rubbed down the husband's spine and said, you must not be fucking her right because she wouldn't be laying on you like that. And he said, Flavor, can you call yo nigga to see if I can grab your titties?
You don't know them well enough to be playing with them in that manner, okay? I know alcohol's in the picture. Things are flowing, but that doesn't mean you get to disrespect married people. These aren't a bunch of single people in a club that you could just feel on and touch on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you were a young adult out partying in college with a ton of friends that you know real well, it may be a different story. But these are all established, grown-ass married adults. And Lips, it was asking to touch all over the women. That's too much. Imagine how the men felt, Even though Lips is married to a man, that's still a man touching on their wife or attempting to touch their wife. But they feel like they shouldn't say anything because of Lips's sexual orientation. Oh, it's harmless. But is it harmless? Is it harmless? It's too much, These aren't single people. So I think it is disrespectful in terms of these are not single people. If they were single people and they didn't have a problem with you touching them and y'all were all in the freak off mood, I don't know. It's fine. But the fact that these are all professionals, these are all YouTube people, these are all co-workers. Think about going out with your co-workers and their husbands or wives, and then one of their husbands getting real drunk and asking to touch everybody. That's not gonna fly. But Lips gets a little bit of the pass from the men because they see it as, oh, he's harmless with this. Is it? That's out of line. But at any time, if the men felt disrespected about what Lips was doing to their wives, they could have got up and walked out. So it didn't seem like it was too much of a threat because Lips walked away without a scratch. Y'all, he was allowed to touch this woman and that woman, and the men in the room allowed him to. So what are we talking about with that?
He says, hell no, I ain't coming back to Atlanta to meet her. I'm not that thirsty to work with her. I just need her to sell my hot sauce. And I was like, Lips. He had a whole motive. And as a matter of fact, he has a whole motive for all of us. I'm warning all the YouTubers out here. All the big YouTubers, all the small YouTubers, all the YouTubers in the whole YouTube land. Selfish. He is everything that I don't want to be part of. I don't want to be friends with. And he has talked so much to so many people about so many different people that he can't even keep up with his own lies.
And the last point that Prissy hones in on about Lips, she talks about how Lips used her. And she feels like Lips used her to get to be loved, and people can corroborate this story, which could very well be true. Okay? And from the first message, Lips was on business. And I think Prissy was on friendship. But business is business and friendship is friendship. Okay? If someone contacts you and says, I'm an up-and-coming YouTuber, I'm trying to get my name out there. Lips was a hustler. He would collaborate with anybody. A YouTuber that I know pretty well, and she's pretty cool. She's a mukbanger named Get Lit with Mo. Lips is under her videos. Lips is under every mukbanger's videos because it's called collaboration, and it's what you do to grow. It's what you do to grow. You don't use people, but it's what you do to grow. Okay, so I do understand him wanting to collaborate with Prissy. Do I agree with him telling people, I just want Beloved to sell sauce for me? Do I agree with him treating people disposably? Absolutely not. And the real question in this case, ladies and gentlemen, did Lips treat production disposably? Regardless or not if he did, it does not justify what happened to him then. But I want to know from you guys in those comments. So that was an expedited recap of the video. It was about an hour and 9 minutes long. And it touched on things like the birthday weekend, 3 days, Lips kept showing up late, Lips kept putting work or certain people over the need for community and having a good time. Lips disrespected people's wives. Lips talked to people as if they were disposable. And it all rubbed Prissy the wrong way. Other people, they might have not cared. But for Prissy, her morals were different. She went into this trip thinking, I'm going to meet someone who could be a good friend. Lips went into this trip thinking, I'm going to make a bag. And at the end of the day, I think there was a huge miscommunication issue here. If you guys want to see me talk more about Lips and the developing case with production, make sure to like this video. I think I'm going to be doing weekly recaps of the Cassie and Diddy trial. So I'm trying to compile all my notes on that now. It is deplorable. So I'm going to make one video compiling a week of testimony and things of that nature, and it's going to take a lot of effort to do. So please thumbs up this, get it to 400 likes if you want to see that extensive 1 week recap. If you like content like this that revolves around scandal, controversy, true crime with a twist of humor, make sure to hit that subscribe button. This has been Lindsay Unfiltered. Bye now.